Welcome to the Horseboarding UK podcast, a podcast where we talk about the sport of horseboarding. If you haven't heard of horseboarding before, where have you been? Because it's ace, and these guys next to me will tell you that too. But if you haven't heard of it, it's about a sport where you have a horse rider, and attached to the saddle is a rope, and at the end of that rope is a guy or girl on an off-road skateboard, and they go as fast as they can on a twisting, turning course to get the fastest time and win. But this is Beer Tent Breakdowns. We are at round 3 of the Horseboarding National Championships, and I am joined by brainchild of the sport, Daniel Fowler Prime, myself, Thomas Kilroy, I'm just his brother, Orange Child from the team of Happy Little Accidents, Georgina Scott from the team of Happy Little Accidents, Anita Westmore, thank you for the assist, who's been in the sport for forever, really. You've had teams, you've refed, you're all over the place. You are a member of the committee as well. And then Anne-Marie Fowler Prime, who you would already know from yesterday's podcast. But Anne-Marie, again, we spent hours talking about all of Anne-Marie's accolades, but she's a committee member, she's here all the time, and she's a crucial part to the sport. Right. Can someone else talk?
So I would just like to start off by saying that, particularly if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a real podcast. We are real people. The beer is real. The conversation is real. So some of the language may also be real. So just be aware it's at least PG-13. But also it is about the sport and the people that do the sport. So we're at Burghley House, day 1 complete.
Interesting.
Any thoughts from anybody?
Wet.
It wasn't that wet this morning. Like, we were meant to get thunder and lightning storms, and this morning was Baltic. Well, not Baltic, that's the wrong way around. My brain's gone already. I barely started reading these. It was sweaty. It was sweaty. A humid sweat.
I don't know what time you got up, but when I got up, it was raining.
I got up in a gap of rain, so I was like I woke up without Dale snoring, which was lovely, and then I got out of my tent with that when there was a break in the rain, and then actually the weather turned very nice, and we had a really nice half a day.
Yeah, productive day. And so the first heat, guys, this is your first time at Burghley.
Is indeed.
What do you think? To the house and also to the track and your day here?
It's surreal for us just to be here and racing, and like we had Tame as the first one, getting a taster. There's so much coming in, too much information really to really appreciate it. Second one, East Anglia, was wet, very wet, caked in mud, cold. Luckily we had this amazing trailer to get it dry, and I think this is the round where we've really started to appreciate it. I mean, the tracks or the grounds held up so well, I think, from the limited experience I've got, and it's been a blast. Yeah, we've had a great time. What do you think?
I wanted to ride at Burghley for years.
It is a big thing with horse riders, isn't it, to get the opportunity to ride at the venue?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool.
And how was Goose this weekend? Because obviously he's new, he's a stallion, he's come into his last 3 events. How's he progressed over the last sort of events?
He seems to be getting better at each one. Just like he just seems to open up a little bit more each time, a little bit more comfortable.
He looked like he enjoyed it today.
Yeah.
You guys as a team look very gelled. I've obviously had panic attacks about that bottom corner pretty much all day. I can't watch. But see, yeah, and I think you handled it really well, and then you're like taking off and you kind of got yourself and you're going, aren't you? It looked good as a team, I thought.
Yeah.
Even as him settling in. So like, obviously the first event, he was quite vocal. Yeah, he's quite shouty initially. It took him a while to settle. This one, we put him in the pen, and that was it. There was no noise whatsoever. He was comfortable. He was like, right, I've got this now. Like, this is what we do. And even we've got Pull a Fast One right next to us with a horse that's 3 meters away, and he looked at the horse and was like, yeah,
I think there's a budding bromance there.
Yeah. So like he's locked in now. He knows this. He knows the crack. He's enjoying it. I think you probably know better than I do, but
yeah, definitely.
He's settled in really well.
And Nice, you got any? What was your experience like in the pits?
Yeah, with Stanley.
Today?
Oh no, he's absolutely fine.
But yeah, I mean, today's this morning was absolutely fine. Good runs this morning, and then the lightning came this afternoon.
Yeah.
Lightning stopped playing.
I think
For the first time
yeah.
ever.
I think the light so this afternoon the heats we got some pictures coming up on the screen now of
It was hitting me in the face. Tom, I just noticed your lid's not down actually.
No, because I can't see with that much water on there.
Maybe we should talk about cars.
And this is still relatively dry compared to recently.
I mean, it rained hard. There was real dark clouds coming over the horizon, and I did mention it a couple of times on the PA. So, it reminded me actually of when we spoke about it earlier about saying we'd never cancel the heat mid-heat. For me, the red line is lightning above the arena, and basically once we could see it approaching, and we brought
our cameraman down.
We brought the camera down.
That's a priority.
Yeah, let's bring the camera. And I didn't even think about it. It was you that's like, we've got a camera on the roof.
Yeah. Crispy him down now.
There he is, there up there.
I didn't have a coat on me either. None of us had coats on. It was beaming with beaming sunshine when we brought all the horses out to take them up to the arena, and then that happened. But the lightning got closer and closer, didn't it? So it started off in the far field, and we were like, okay, we saw that. Everybody saw that. And then it came slightly closer, and Dan's like, well, we're gonna just see where we go. And then I started getting a bit concerned about our cameraman, obviously, and thinking about us being like a complete beacon.
Then once he came down, it's like, we've also got 2 flags attached to your commentary box.
It was chaos in the commentary box for us, though. Just everybody piled in.
Yeah.
And then Dan and Aidan were just trying to continue to speak. And there's just so many people talking absolute nonsense.
Everybody was just coming for shelter and talking about the weather whilst we're continuing to race. Half the crew, I think, from Living Heritage, and everybody with any sort of official capacity was climbing into the
The lightning strike that cooled the end was while we were mid-race.
Yeah,
I was thinking about this. I was saying, how mad would it be if I'm on the footage or clips and photo, you just had some border bent over and this lightning strike coming through the sky.
Did you miss a shot, Dan? But it reminded me a little bit of when we were at Tame one year, and there was these clouds coming over towards the arena, and everybody was like, we've got to go. And the first second rotation, I think, and everyone was going, every team was out directly after the team that went before it. They were bang, 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 bang. Everybody could see the rain was coming, so they were just going. And then it hailed massively. You couldn't see across the arena. We just stopped. Hold the racing, because again, no lightning, so
safe.
It's only cold and wet.
Cold, hard, and wet.
For us.
Yeah.
For me, it was less of light.
Well, we had to shut the windows. Okay. Oh no. 20 in there. Yeah. When I piled in.
So just be careful. You don't speak over each other. Let each person speak, but do keep your points. But yeah, we were in the commentary box. It started raining. We couldn't see across the ring, and then once the rain passed, I think you were reffing that day, weren't you?
I was, yes.
Yeah, absolutely,
horrible.
Absolutely soaked. And then, what thing that really stood out for me was everybody started coming back out again, but now there's a layer of ice across the whole arena.
UK Border Force came out and did one of the fastest runs of the day.
Well, yeah, because it was after the first rotation. So the second rotation, they were on course B, because this one, it just stands out in my memory as one of these moments in the sport. It's just wow. And Ollie Dartford comes into that 90 degree, goes to make the turn, which was a toe side turn, if I remember correctly, and the board just didn't grip, and he just slid past the gate and just went crashed out, didn't make it. So the next time he comes round, again, obviously it's a little bit more grip or whatever, but he turned through the board into the corner so far away from the corner, and he literally just slid and slid and slid and slid, and then it just took him as he got around. It was
Nice.
It was beautiful bit of boarding, and one of my most favorite moments. But yeah, the weather today, lightning is always the one that you've got to say now. And we were, like I say, waiting for a bit, and then it happened. Yeah, I didn't see it. It seemed like the whole arena went, like the whole arena flashed.
Yeah,
and it was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna have to pull it. We'll finish the race first, but then we're gonna pull it after that.
Yeah, I think you pulled it at the right time.
You said that because you just about to get.
We're fuming about that. So we were sat there, and obviously pull a fast one and beat us by 0.03 of a second or whatever it is on the first run. So we were like chomping at the bit to get out, and like the teams were going out and they're doing their runs. We're like, come on, we want to get out. It's just about to rain, and then obviously the rain came and we didn't get the chance. But yeah, tomorrow we're coming from.
You're going for the first one, yeah.
I mean, there was a moment, you probably heard us talking about it. It was the first time I've seen you do it, and it was going into the chicane, I think, on your second run, or your first or second run this morning, and you were on your heel, the toe side turn, and then power sliding out through your heels. What is that? Have you felt that before?
First time, and wow. Yeah. Literally came into the corner, wasn't expecting it, and I felt the friction go, felt it take the slide, and I was like, oh, what's this? And then next minute, just going around, I was like, okay, this is where it's at. It felt so good. As soon as we got the slide and understood what was happening, I was like, right, let's just ride it through. Yeah. And just came through the corner, out the other side, and I was like, okay. Yeah. Now I'm understanding.
I saw, because I had a great view of it, so I saw you come through that corner.
Oh no.
And it was I was like, wow, he's just done it. And that when the very first time you feel that, you're like, right, that's where I need to get the board.
Yeah.
And then you can control that, because if you watch the elites, they very rarely have their boards running in a linear fashion. They're not really running straight. It's only on the diagonal or a straight. As soon as they're into a turn, they're power sliding, like most of the time. I mean, Aidan would probably correct me on that one and be like, no, man, I can't. Oh, there's loads to calm as well. So yeah, it was good. And you looked really confident in the second time you came out, but then you got into a bit of a mess into that dip.
Yeah, so I think I'd found my flow going after the first one. I was into the second one, and I was like, right, now I've got my capacity, I'm starting to look further ahead. So rather than just holding on, be like, oh my God, what's going on, and going corner to corner, now I'm starting to be like, right, I'm understanding the board, let's plan ahead and get the lines. So I came through the chicane, and I was like, right, this is quite tight, let's look through the corner, where do I want to be, set myself up right, started tipping in, and then Goose pushed out wide.
I think we all made bits of mistakes on that one, to be honest, because I wasn't early enough to get him ready to go. So he then dragged me out, and I was fighting to get him back in. And then it was.
And I'd obviously already committed at that point, because in my head I was like, oh, it's fine, we're going this way. And then he pushed out wide. And this is when the tip from Tom came really handy on the following round. But the Goose pushed out wide. My arm went past it, which pulled me onto my heels. And then it was like a fight of then trying to get back. Got back onto my toes, but it wasn't quite enough. And then that's what pushed me out, and over I went. But that's when I had a chat with Tom. You gave me the tips about using the arm, and actually on the toe side, if the horse does go out wider, that instead of letting the arm follow it and it pulling you off balance and forcing you onto your toes, to just grip it, push down on the rope and bring it in to that center of gravity and the direction it pulls forwards, and that kept you on the toes. And actually on the second heat, that's exactly what I did. Goose went out wider. I got my line slightly. I don't think it was wrong, but it was wrong for where the horse was. I'd cut it too early. The horse went out wide. I grabbed it, pulled it down, and it just board went into a little bit of a slide, and it just pushed around. So
it also looked like you were taking a wider line out of the chicane as well, which seemed to keep you in a bit more easier line with where the power's coming from the horse.
Yeah, I think preempting it after that fall happened, I was like, right, I can't just assume that we're going to be tight in this and I can take that line I want to. I actually need to ride where the horse is and then counter my line to that. So yeah, I gave it a little bit more width and then tucked into the corner.
Sounds like you're doing an awful lot of learning on the track.
Yeah.
It really good.
Honestly, it's from day one to now, it's like, initially it was too much information coming in. I didn't have the ability to sort of take the tips. I was listening to what people were saying, but it was like, right, you need to sit back on the board and you need to bend the knees and you need to tilt in here and this is a line you need to ride. And I'm there going, oh my God, the ground is better. Like, what is this? But now the pieces are starting to come together. And I've got more, I feel more comfortable on the board, and now I've got more capacity to listen to what people are saying and implement it. So
Your boarding's jumped up dramatically from the last event to this one. Now, this event does give you the ability to ride in a less shit, there's a corner kind of way. But your skill level has just done a jump.
Oh, that's a great picture.
It's that, or it's your confidence level that's gone up.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That is a great picture.
Yeah, man. Like,
Check that out. I'm boarded.
Look at it's just spray coming off. You're probably sliding at that point.
that's the power slide.
That's the turn.
Yeah, that's the one.
What a shot, Dan.
That's a beer afterwards, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the coolest you've ever looked.
In my life.
And that's been an air traffic control for
I mean,
flashing jets.
listen to jets every day, but that's where it's at.
Yeah, that looks very cool. That looks very cool.
You look very stoic and serious, though, George.
Don't I? Look at that face. Horrendous.
She's like, if this guy falls off behind me, I'm going to fill him in.
What are you thinking at this gun point? Because you've done 3 rounds, and you know that Orin's getting that bit quicker. How are you and Goose finding it? You able to be adding more pace, or what needs to happen with him to kind of be a bigger engine?
I'm
I
not
think
100%
it's a
sure.
bit ahead.
I think
They're just growing into themselves.
They're already talking about
Yeah.
it, so it's fine. Like,
I think he needs to be a bit stronger. Like, yeah, because he does the first half and he just fades after we get into the second half.
yeah.
So I think it's a bit of fitness.
It'll
Bit of
come
fitness.
naturally as you race more.
Yeah.
There's no way to get a horse race fit than actually racing.
No.
Yeah.
I think he's proving that because every weekend he's got a bit stronger, a bit fitter, and is a bit more keen for it.
What I used to do when I was doing a bit of training of the horses exactly for this is I'd do sort of like interval training with them out on hacks. So I'd take them out, I'd find a section of ground that you could really let them gallop on. Obviously, if you could find a field that you can run a track on, that's also good. But and I would like hack out for an hour. But within that hour, I have to. Is this true?
I didn't do any of that.
Okay.
I just did hard training.
What? Sorry.
When I used to race, I just used to do hard training. So I think I started off doing something like 5 runs. So I just do serpentines in the field as fast as I could. And
Right.
I'd do about 5 runs, and I'd have a map on my phone which would have a timer on it, and I'd do 70 seconds.
Yeah.
And then as she got fitter and fitter, I brought it down to the amount of runs that I did, and brought the timing down as well.
Yeah.
But still doing that serpentine, so you get the acceleration come back out the corner, because it's all right just doing straight line work.
Yeah.
But you want the horse to be able to accelerate out of the corner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's also very good. I think, but what I was going to say is, what I would do is I'd take them out for a hack, do a 70 second, find 70 seconds worth of ground that you could really run on, do the 70 seconds, and then walk them off, walk them around, hack out, just walking, just generally chilling out for 20 minutes, because we generally run an hour, so the horse would run once every 20 minutes. So I'd give him the best part of 20 minutes as a rest, and then do it again.
Yeah.
And then do it so that you're imitating the show.
That's their recovery time. I mean, I really like What? I'd never heard that story about you training in that way.
And
It's
then
really interesting.
because the app did it all for me, so she'd say workout start, and the funny thing was, she would count it in 3, 2, 1, workout. Finn would just go. She would hit the 3. On the 3, she was like, oh, and then that was it. And she'd hear the countdown, and then you can program it to say. So I'd have a 10-minute break, so I'd just walk her then for 10 minutes to walk her off. And then the countdown.
Is this a horseboarding app?
No, it's just like a running app.
Is this horse alone, or is this horse and board?
No, just me and the horse.
Right,
Just
okay.
me and the horse.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So yeah, that's what we used to do.
Oh yeah, if you can't actually get a track, to
Yeah.
practice on, it's really difficult.
I mean, we're quite limited with like weekends only. With me working literally polar opposite ends laterally to the UK.
There's
like,
no good real road across from one side. Is it? It would be the 850s probably. Hey, where'd you go? What? Talking about what roads do you use to drive across the country? Oh, you don't want to go that way. Comments below, please. Which, if you got like a load of fans and they wanted to see you drive from one side of the country to the other, and what roads would they stand on to see you concentrate on the bridges? You have little accidents.
oh dear.
That or opposing teams when you get good enough they want to assassinate you.
Well, just take me out, throw a stinger across the road, and then done. But no, it is a bit of a. It's not an issue. It's a challenge. I mean, whether, especially during the summer months, how much teams really get to practice during the week with jobs anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we travel back on weekends and meet up and train where we can, but it's obviously limited. So
I think the thing is, I'm interested. I mean, when we spoke to Send It siblings at the last event, they were saying they hadn't really done much practice. The way in which I'm going to put Shelf Send It siblings just for a second, talking about teams like Charlie Buss and Ross Towner from their epic teams that they've had: Chill Winston, Dead Pigeons, Mad Hatters.
yeah.
What was it? Nettles Next or whatever. Yeah, but they've won so many championships, and the only ones they didn't win is when stuff went really wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like Ross couldn't race for the year. I think Winston was struggling. Winston completed last year, didn't he? They won the team last year. So they're really hard nut to crack in terms of, I would, again, love to see them racing against Blues and Twos this year. It'd be nice. It'd be scary.
Yeah.
I'd love Limited Edition to be racing this year. That would be scary.
Dr. Lloyd Graham.
Yeah.
Bastard.
But Ross and Charlie, I mean, Charlie lives and breathes horses. She rides and works them, does everything with them. She has a particular way. Do you need to reset? Sorry, just pause.
So we had to stop there briefly for the cameras, but then you were saying about Charlie.
Yeah, she has a particular way with the horses, and they do.
No, you won't hear that.
Okay. Okay. They do. So the practice in which they do, they will train in their school, and they will hire schools to train in. But I don't think. Yeah, but I don't think it's not like they're training every weekend.
No.
And it wasn't really. So I've been to a few of their training stuff. It wasn't really for the fast pacedness of it. It was more for they do kind of quick hot laps in a sandstall, but they were just training the corners and getting the horse ready to understand. Okay, so you're going to support the border in this way coming round, and just remind the horse that you're going to be feeling these tensions from the rope. You're going to be going around a corner in this way, and none of it was quick. It was just like remembering what's going on.
That, actually, because sorry, Dan.
No.
So the little bit of training we have done between the last event and now was focusing on Goose getting his flying changes, because we noticed that in the chicane he was struggling a little bit with it. He was doing one or wasn't doing both. So we just did a little bit of practice of concentrating on that. And I mean, you'll probably be able to comment more than me, but I feel like that's made a big difference. Just getting through that chicane in a much more efficient way, keeping that speed on, because it's similar to what Anita was saying with the straight line speed versus acceleration at the corner. I think we found that when Goose was entering the chicane, he'd slow right down, and then we get through it, but it wasn't fluid, and then this time lost from trying him to get back up to speed after the chicane was where we were suffering. So yeah. So yeah, we
comment needs.
Yeah, what's your fault? What about?
Well, you were just nodding.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I trained Finn the way I trained her, like, because you need to replicate it in the way you can, and if you haven't got your board with you or whatever, then you do your own thing, like you do some downhill mountain boarding, and you do your hardcore.
It kind of makes sense what you're saying about the rope as well, because that reminds me of when you're training a horse to trick ride, for example, you teach the horse to balance up against the weight of the board rider.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same sort of thing. The horses in trick riding, horses learn the tricks. So they learn that when you put yourself into a certain position, they have to set themselves in a certain way to help balance you out. So it again, in the same way, we're thinking I'd never actually thought about it in relation to horseboarding in terms of the pressure on the rope. But like in the same way, the pressure on the rope and how the horse is going to support, particularly, again, looking at the way that Ross and Charlie use the horse as an anchor a lot, don't they? Yeah. So the horse comes around the corner and Ross is riding that sweet spot in the outside line, but also where you become weightless, and the other boarders are best to talk about that. I've only witnessed it, I've not done it. But on an occasion, the horse locks. On that occasion, the horse you see it's locking himself against that rope and making sure that he's holding the board rider in that position.
I have to say that sweet spot is a scary place. I tried to ride today and we weren't going that fast because I wasn't sliding, and I was just trying to put at the top corner of this course is like two separate corners. It's weird the way Annette was running it felt like two separate corners, right. And I think I said it to her, she was like, "Yeah, it is." But I was trying to ride it, and we're not going fast enough for me to slide. Otherwise, if I force a slide, I'm going to be like an anchor to the horse, so it's really not good to do. So I was trying to ride the outside line, and then she'd randomly put on this bit of power where I'm like, oh, "This is really nice," and I went, all over the place.
So that's what I was actually going to ask you about that, because that at the time it looked like your board kind of sent itself out to the outside.
I was riding position where it's great at the speed we were doing, but I was riding the edge of grip because we were going fast. I say to force a slide or to be wanting to slide, and then she just and to be fair, Harry, there's me hand down. Great. Harry's putting his power on, and it's so powerful. Yeah. The first rotation I came around, and Dan said he didn't get a picture because I disappeared from where he was stood. He was in the dip at the other end of the arena. And he's like, "I saw you go around the corner, and then you disappeared, and there was a rope." So I made this save, and then I got back up and I looked at the finish line. Now we've got this, and just whatever the translation of power that Harry's putting down the rope just went out of my hand. Not even like, "Oh, I've got it." It just rips it, and I was like, "What?"
I just see you disappear off the side of the track, just like
I was not happy. But it was not like one of those where you've got the cognitive thought to go, I'm losing.
Yeah.
It was just his stride.
The thing is, I guess, because when we've seen the close-up shots, I'm thinking back now to Ross in
that's a cognitive thought.
And as you can literally see his hand opening up with each stride, and eventually the handle gets pulled out of him.
That was one stride.
Yeah, but again, also the horse wasn't really running to pace. So it's got all that energy all built up, and as you've come around that corner, she's just let go, and now that pace has gone boom, and you're being hit with. He's a big, solid horse.
He's so powerful. I can feel it in because the idea of this second rotation, the second heat this afternoon, because Annette's building up. She's got some fear from the fall last year,
the crash at the centre.
Yeah. Which I'm just like, look, he's solid. Like,
yeah. He is solid.
You need to let him out to bring him back. And the last run that we did in the morning, I said, let him out before you go, and then bring him back. And if you're struggling to bring him back, you've got that whole big corner all the way back down the arena to turn to get back in the weave to bring him back. So let him out first, then bring him back, and then pick the speed you want. And we did that, and every lump that you're going over, because as you're going around the corner, the ground's doing this underneath you, so you're sliding, and the ground's doing that. You're like, "Ugh." And every one of those up the uphill, it was pulling my arm, and I'm like, that's weird. That's not something I've felt before. And it's twitching the board all over the place.
Just because he's got so much power in it.
I think also because he's not striding out. So
okay, so it's a short stride. He's got his
he's got his.
But then what? Again, if he's not running at pace, if he was running with a long stride and he's throwing masses of power down the handle. Well, but at the same time, he would also you'd be going fast.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be getting a sudden launch where he's like, I want to go. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, look at that fantastic animal. Look at that.
You've got a horse crash on
That horse, I flipping love that horse.
You should see him in the pits. He literally just stands there and watches. He
lovely.
just takes it all in the day, though. It's really nice.
But
you really see it with him, though. You really just stands there and watches.
But from that picture, you can see, like, I am not in a sliding position. I'm riding an outside line. We're not quite going fast enough. I've got like a Z going on, leaning over, wanting my hand to be down and wanting a slide to happen, but knowing that I can't force it because we're not at the pace where that would be really good. And I mean, he wouldn't even feel me, to be fair. But
no, he wouldn't. It's fine. Also, you could do a fucking. Sorry, what do you call it? you could do an angel wing on him, as they used to call it. I don't know what they call it now. And ride him through a brick wall. You could ride him into battle, and that horse would go anywhere.
He's so honest. Like, Annette's had certain issues with getting him hooked up, and he's just walking. He's walking around and hooking up with me, and he's just like la 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 la. We've got him, and I think more so that Net's got more of the fear now, and she just needs to build that up back to her.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, you got to think about it. She had 2 falls. You had the one fall, which you watch that in slow motion. How the first one, where the horse kind of just jibbed off the third cone of the weave.
Word, brain words.
It's not the beer. It's not the beer. Yes, the third cone of the weave, and she just came unseated, landed quite heavily, and the way her head flicked back was like
what year was it?
Oh, it's
last year. Yeah, she landed on her back. It was like something out of
dirt.
It was no. The first one. Call it the first one. And she hit. Her head went so far back. You're like, how did you not break her neck doing that? That's it. She must have had whiplash. There's no way you do that not whiplash. Then the second fall was when Harry actually fell, and I mean, they were storming. They were really, really storming. And Harry lost his legs on. I think it was turning up to
the weave, but they were flying, and they were storming.
And they'd lost a shoe as well. They'd lost a shoe. They were storming. They went around that corner. They lost their legs. The horse went down, and Annette came off the horse face first and just face planted the earth with a full on galloping horse. That horse goes, I'm gonna face plant the earth. It was like, wow, that's gonna make you think.
Yeah.
If you're still
But we forget that Harry only came into it last year,
I know,
and that actually he rides like like his furniture, like you said, and I think the lack of experience in last year's falls were demonstrated, just not because Harry's not capable, it's just because he actually only came into it last year, and she'd been riding Skimatara.
You can come into technical support, Dan, if you need be.
And is it a remote? Is it remote, Joel? I'll try to see.
Can you just press behind you? Hold the button underneath the centre of sharp, the word sharp. Not that we're endorsing this TV.
No, it's also we will take this opportunity to say that we're still not.
There are other TVs out there.
If you'd like to send us a crate of beer to test or several
Yes.
crates to be to test during the podcast. We will review it. This is very nice.
We're
I can't tell
experienced
you-
tasters.
Yeah, I can't tell you what it is. Some of us have a taste for ale, and some people are heathen.
There's the people who are right and there's people who are wrong.
Yeah. People that are right are on the right hand side of the table, and
That'll be us then.
this is the right. Oh,
We're supporting our end here. aren't we?
We're right. The viewer is wrong.
anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were talking about.
Yeah, so the lack of, I think, Scimitar, a completely different horse.
That's a nice picture. So yeah, it's good. They're absolutely different horse, and
And Harry came in not for the full season last year, like that
No.
was the half of the season,
then went to Prague.
and had, So I think there is a bit of attitude change, but also I think Harry's now we trust Harry as a horse. Like, oh
Yeah.
God. It's
But we haven't fallen off him twice.
no.
talking to Annette, like again, we went round this morning. She did a proper schooling run first time,
So Sandy's not here.
and then I said like, look, we're gonna start the second heat at the second run pace that we did in the morning. So we're gonna bring it up. We're not doing that silly slow schooling one. He's been around this course. The ground hasn't changed at this point anyway. And there's no reason that we can't start that second pace, because you were happy, he was happy. It's not a winning run pace, but it's quicker, and it's just going to build that confidence. If you do the same three things and mess the third run up every time because you're going that too fast, you're just going to pace it up. Like, we know we were paddling water at the first run pace, at that schooling run. You can just now make your schooling run that slightly faster one and build that way. And we had a plan. I did actually say, look, I don't think we'll catch blues and twos, but they're not unbeatable. Like, we've got a 75, and yes, I crashed because I'd let go Aiden. But like, that was 75, and we weren't pushing. Like, that wasn't pushing that run at all. We pulled right back for the weave, and I was like, you've got the pace, even pulling back for the weave. So he's there. He just needs. And
I mean, and also you need to consider that the team that you're matching that horse up against is blues and twos.
spent a year.
This, and they're now in their third year.
today. Wow.
There's so much to be said.
Going for it.
There's so much to be said for like the relationship between the team as well, isn't there? So like,
Yeah.
I think that's where you were going with it, Dan. Is like they know what each other's thinking. That whole three minds working as one, as you're always saying. Like, that's there. There's no word.
Jesus.
So,
Your face, Brian.
so like to try and compete with that when you've not got that relationship, let alone when you did have it and the speeds they're pushing, like that's a big ask, isn't it?
I mean, they are
And the fact that Amy does that with her legs to get around the cones.
That's why I heard this on the podcast on one of the other ones where I listened to it, and I was like trying to picture it in my mind. I was like, "What? How is that working?" But okay, now I see.
I mean, that's a bit extreme. She's over-egged it a little bit with sticking her leg out. She's over-egged it a little bit with sticking her leg out. But passing. I'm going to ride. So you can't get any closer to that cone.
No.
You can't get the horse any closer because I've had to move my leg. That's how, like, do you know what I mean?
Wow. This is where we go.
It's over-egged, but like, she would have hit the ball, actually not moved her leg.
That's awesome.
I think this was the point where he'd just been touched. I think this is just after he'd been touched.
So Amy, I heard Amy talking in the pit. She's like, oh, she just backs that bit off and then she like kicks her legs out to kind of get through, like as in to add a bit more pace, because she does do like a bit of a back off. And
No, he made it. Did he make that turn? Oh, and then he touches.
okay, so
He touches.
this you see the way her muscles kind of flex. That's her backing off, and then the next photo is actually where you're seeing her. She's clicked a load of power on. So Ryan's close anyway, but on the next photo you see how she's kind of launched off those legs.
No, that's the one before.
Wow, that's how quick it was.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I don't understand that. I looked at that photo and went, hold on a minute. He's now going to try and make
Of course he is.
the turn.
And he does. Because the next photo is sound. Oh, his calves don't. So day one, when we turned up at Tabe, I saw Ryan's calves and I was just like, look at that. I was like, his calves are insane.
Have you not seen footage of him going? There's some footage of him going around the course with his. Layla's got it, hasn't she? And
On slow motion.
his calves are just like.
Yeah, and there's like arms coming out of his muscles, like his it's like whole arms coming out. It was weird.
They are just.
I've been training really hard, and my calves are not that big.
Oh.
And I'm like, how?
Calves don't grow that big.
My normal
Ryan is not natural at those calves.
They're talking the Ryan and Karen are Not Forgotten have got the same calves. That's new.
No. So it's a battle.
This is what was going on. There's a calf battle.
I think Ryan's got it. I'm not gonna lie.
We're saying got
Is it weird that I was assessing it today?
just like, yeah, I think that should be like assessment on it.
I'm just going to take a measure.
We want photos. People to send in their calf photos to prove that Ryan.
Does anybody have bigger calves than Ryan?
No.
If we got a real good shot of his calves, we could.
I'm Team Ryan, 100%.
Oh, it's a bit of I'm saying that Ryan's definitely got it, but there is somebody that is competing in the calf.
Significantly bigger than the rest.
Competition. calf competition. It's not what you think.
Moving away from calves, send it siblings. Like,
I mean,
what
What
is going on?
They are shifting.
Yeah, what shift?
I think there's very serious conversations that need to be had in terms of elevating.
I don't think they'll go to elite. I don't think they'd want to. I think they want the.
I know they want to win.
Championship.
Yeah, but the prize money's bigger.
Oh yeah, true.
He
can buy his own trophy.
The status is bigger. Do you know what I mean? To be racing in the elite. I mean,
They could also use this season as a bit of a rest of it anyway, as a training season to ready to compete hard next season. So
I mean,
it's a chat you need to have with them.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's a conversation for the committee to have. And I definitely think we're at that point, and I definitely think it's a conversation
You
with
might
them.
think that Josh doesn't want to do the elite, but I think Fenella would really like to. And I don't think Josh will have a choice in that.
Well, I think you look at the two things. It depends on what you're interested in. If you're interested in great separation.
That's straight after release. Like, her releases are on point.
Yeah.
We geek out on releases.
Yeah,
like,
I'd like to do a geek out on release.
yeah.
Can we do a geek out on releases?
Yeah, we can geek out on releases.
And that's also a call.
Yeah,
That is a very good professional call. And the horse
Race face on that
it's the race.
Race face the race face.
Race face on the pony.
Oh, the main thing.
That's
That's the new thing. Yeah, the horse was watching, really lovely in the pits. I know we had a whole conversation about the horses watching, but as I was looking back that way, this little one, absolutely keen, like really paying attention to what's going on.
I think they would. And I've seen some of their social media. They've been testing the weave. They've been practicing the weave already. And I think they would come out, because I think these guys are keen to get back into a battle with Just Drag.
Yeah.
I think they are, because they were back
I can see that.
last year.
I can see
They
that.
would be keen to get back into that fight.
And they've continued to develop. I mean, the thing is,
we need to have a committee conversation.
yeah,
It would be a good show, wouldn't it? Because you'd have obviously Blues 2's TMT just wing it, scrapping away.
Oh, we got some
Just
headcam
try-
footage here. We got some headcam footage.
Whoa.
It looks surreal, doesn't it?
I mean, it's a shame we got no sound, but there you go.
We might do on the edit.
Look at that. Look how close he's getting.
That was the run I was on about earlier.
Yeah.
I thought that was it. Yeah.
Got it. I want to say, my thoughts were, so it depends on what your objectives are as a team, and because if you want to win the advanced championship at this stage, they've just made this big leap in progression. There's nobody really chasing them. They can just go out and smash it. And to the point that I thought this afternoon, the second run, or the run that he crashed out on, I wondered if, as they went down towards the speed trap, I thought, are they going to go for the weave? Like, because my feeling from the commentary box was they're so confident in how they've already smashed it. They're very mature racing this morning. They raced two, they called the third one. They went, no one's going to beat us. Nobody came near them. So now, what's the next thing?
Well, I think back.
I'm going to do the weave. Forget the time. I don't even care because the time's going, and this has happened. When teams are getting ready to qualify up, just do the force. And it's like,
they right to Emily, don't they? And
and if they had done that, and
demonstrate it,
if they had done that and it's beaten just drag time, then you're like, you got it. That's it. You've just opened your own door there.
I would say that is a gauntlet down to this team for tomorrow.
That's getting you bored. Putting them on the table.
They wouldn't hear that. They wouldn't hear this in time for tomorrow. But that was just my thought before he
I'll tell him. Yeah, go for the weave. Let the ref know, because we have had this before where teams have gone for the weave and the ref didn't know, was in the wrong place, and like you just ran.
Yeah. Let's be honest, we don't want Dale getting run over again.
Look at how his trucks are bent from that fall. Look at the pressure on that spring. No,
he's recovered from a couple.
No, not that one.
That
Not
was
that
the
one.
raining one.
That's a bit.
Yeah, the sit downs. He did sit down a couple of times and get back.
there ain't no recovery.
No, that's
Right. Maybe right.
Down.
Yeah.
Think about the show as well. Like, so if they do go up to elite, you're going to have obviously just wing it TNT, blues and twos, scrapping it out. You have just drag and send it siblings who are going to be close on each other's heels, and then the advance, you're not going to have that gap. So you're going to have obviously danger donkeys when they come back, pull a fast one. Hopefully, I'd like to say. Not going to throw it out there,
but you're already getting you're causing them some pressure today.
we're coming up with Puckley the second. I would love to have had a few more rounds to fight at each other. You know what I mean? Because it would have been great. You know, they come back, they beat us, we come back. Maybe who knows what happens?
So what were we saying? What were you
talking? You were saying how it would affect the show. And
yeah, so obviously in elite category we're going to have blues and twos. I've lost my thread now completely. Blues and twos, TNT, and
just wing it.
Fighting out for top three. Just drag will then have a competitor. They'd be fighting against Send It Siblings if they went up. So you've got like in terms of show aspects, you've got that.
Yeah, I think the way in which
my
dog wants to wee as well. The way in which what I saw today from Send It Siblings was when they came past the commentary box, Fenella, said it right.
He hopes
was nailed it. Was racing in anger, like as in, like you'll never practice the way you race in competition, and that's what I call racing in anger. It doesn't mean you're necessarily angry. It just means you're willing to crash to win this race. I'm going. I will push. Nothing's gonna make you push yourself like that.
Like when
my point was, sorry, yeah. That before we start talking about you again, the point was as Fenella came past, she was no longer having to think about Josh in the same way that she's had to do for the rest of the time they've been racing.
The same things with you guys. You've kind of progressed slightly, haven't we? Where you're kind of taking care of your own shit, so to speak, holding on, and you're
doing your
pushing
thing.
on. Yeah, pushing on a little bit.
Yeah, well,
It's
I think,
the same
but But with them, they were now letting that pony out and really and she came around out of the chicane and she was just like, I'm getting around here as fast as I can. And you could see determination. There was a confidence that Josh was going to be there.
Zero.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Zero fucks given.
Yeah, I'm going as fast as I can, and Josh was stayed with her. So for the one fall today, really out of the 4 runs I think they completed, or 4 or 5 runs, so.
And the thing is like taking that a step further is when you've got no one to battle against. Yeah, you're racing yourself and you constantly want to improve. But the second you introduce that competitive edge and you've got another team like with us today, she's going through a second. What? Yeah, that's when you're racing.
Yeah,
Tim is like the most competitive person I know.
You said at the beginning of the weekend, you were like, we want to be within a couple of seconds of quarter past one.
That was like
0.3. 0.3. Does it hurt?
I'm really mad about it.
Because you were starting that race. Did you hear me say it before you started the race? You're coming around before you got to the 0.3. You were coming around the pre-grid race gate, and I was looking at the thing, and I was like, they're only 1.88 seconds behind. And I was like, it's 1.88 seconds. 1.88 seconds. I was like, that's all you need to do is 1.88 seconds. That's when you got to the 0.3.
You actually did your fastest speed on that run.
Yeah.
You hit 19 miles an hour. Which
Did we?
fastest you've
That's
done.
the fastest you've done.
Yeah, 16 was the previous fastest. So you went up 3 miles an hour from your from your runs this afternoon. This morning.
Yeah.
You went 3 miles an hour up just from this morning going to this afternoon with that confidence. Like,
We're coming.
It's it's definitely interesting. I think the reason though, just coming back to Sunday siblings for a moment, I think obviously the reason that we weren't necessarily thinking of them going into the elite initially was because they, Fenella's only 15. And she's turning 16 soon. So obviously the elite sort of age limit is 18. However, there is, we can allow them to, but generally you don't. And we kind of, when Jack turned up with Danger Donkeys, was thinking, Danger Donkeys will race with them for a little bit and then they'll go up. But I don't think we can really hold them back. No. Much longer.
And it looks like they're racing maturely as well. Like that mindset and how they're approaching it is there. So regardless of age,
my question is,
Fenella's got the
maturity there.
Yeah, Fenella's got the maturity as the rider. She's looking out for a brother and a horse.
She's not looking out for a brother.
She has done. Like as they progress from last season into now, she's looked after Josh. She's had that maturity to go, let's not kill him. She's been annoyed at him.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I think there are still stages to go through before that door is opened. And I think, like I say, Emily, Chase with Charlie, they did the weave. They demonstrated. They went.
Their issue was the horse. The issue with Emily and with that team was the horse wasn't fast enough.
She was quite old as well.
Yeah, so it wasn't the team. Emily, say the name again. Chase Me Charlie, the horse rider.
Emily.
You said it.
There's too many Emilys. All right, Emily Newins. Had the skill, had the ability, and was. She said to me at one point, "Why?" Asked me about it, and I was like, because your horse wasn't right. Your horse wasn't right. It was nothing to do with you two. You two were absolutely fine to go into elite at that time, but the horse wasn't right. Here we're looking at a pony that can really cover some ground in the race.
I don't
My question is this. I agree we shouldn't push them.
I think there's a bit of maturity to be had yet.
My question is this. Do you want to be the advanced champions
Without
or that wasn't a question, was it? Or do you want to potentially be coming second in the elite?
Both. That is the answer. Yeah. But no, there's no rules here. I think there's a choice at this stage.
What do you remember what the rules are for?
Yeah, your points don't cross once you're advanced to a league.
But I just don't think
Points do not go down.
I don't think we
Right.
should be having the conversation at this point, if I'm honest with you. And as much as I know that they are shining through and that they're clearly today, that there's clear skills. It's just I don't, it's another conversation at a different time. And I personally feel there's more maturity to that.
However, I say the points go down. Didn't check the rule. That's what I remember, and I can't remember now. It's just made me think. I can't remember now if we then say from advanced to elite, points stop going into the intermediate or novice, and they will only pass down to advanced. So I will need to check that and find out.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules. There's books.
So anyway, any takeaways from the day?
What are you guys going to do tomorrow? How you're going to push something wrong?
So tomorrow's is obviously different. Same course, different direction. So
Complete the same, exactly the same, but completely different.
yeah, exactly. So we'll go out. Probably we'll have this chat tonight. So we haven't really spoken about it, but my initial
George's
thought
eyes
is-
say you might get hurt.
Yeah.
I think there's William.
I'm willing to break my board right now to win this race.
You will be sacrificed.
You make me injured, and that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Lord God himself would be proud.
Yeah.
No, I think we'll go and have a look, but at the same time, like we're on for the fast one's heels, and I feel like this thunderstorm did us a disjustice today, not letting us fight back. So we've got a chance tomorrow. It's better weather.
It's more toe
We're coming
edge for you as well,
Yeah.
and you've kind of come into just seeing
Not
you
being
today.
competitive.
Yeah.
Not competitive. at all.
Just seeing you
Coming
today.
for you.
Seeing you
Don't have
today,
any
you come
Come
into your own on the toe edge. You've actually seemed to have found a bit of comfort on that.
Yeah.
I know how to make a slide. I know how to kind of, although the horse may be on a different line, I want it to ride this line. It doesn't matter because it's not going to mess me up as much.
Yeah.
And your confidence as a team. And I think there is a obviously skill level, but I think there's a 30% of that skill level, maybe 40% of that skill level is confidence. If you don't have the confidence to go into the corners, if you're in your own head, you're thinking about it, if you think about falling,
You're going to go down, yeah.
but you've got the confidence and belief in yourself to get around now, and that's.
Are you and Thomas board the same? Thomas Jen board the same way around? Or the other way around?
I'm goofy, so I'm not sure.
Because that might change things tomorrow. If
It could be interesting, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't
I'll have to
notice.
ask him,
And I
but-
should know. Having him fit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, saying that, it is near because going into obviously
super
the
down.
bottom corner, yeah, it's going to favour me because I'm on toe edge, which is what I find more comfortable.
That's into
Well,
the
isn't it?
Yeah, so
So-
he's the same, so we're the same,
Oh,
yeah,
same. Oh.
which is cool. But
Yeah, but if you were different, then that might give you the edge on the day.
potentially, yeah. I mean,
Oh, look at
I might.
look at
Yes, I might be able to go into the bottom corner.
One got out today, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Took the whole
Really?
fence in with him.
Oh,
Done.
good.
just
Yeah.
didn't do anything. The jousters came back.
As the
Like,
Joneses
there was a
were
bit
back.
of just commotion of them just walking through. Nothing major.
Although
But he just went. He just went, nah, I'm out, and just walked through the fence.
Has he got a zapper on his fence line?
He has now, yeah.
Yeah.
He has now.
Yeah.
I thought they did really well today anyway. I think as a team, again, emerging team, aren't they? Oddly combined. The two.
She's got-
You know what I mean.
Sue's got another horse in the background ready to come in.
Strider.
That is Strider. That is younger,
Strider?
faster. Yeah. I think
Oh,
it's Strider
no.
down.
Friday. Friday.
Okay.
So,
Girl.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so she's got another horse in the background that she wants to bring through. But she wasn't sure would Tom come into the season because he hadn't boarded for so long.
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to finish this season out, and
Yeah.
she will bring that horse in because he will go and practice with her.
But so also as well,
Yeah, I think
Tom. So I did an interview with them earlier today, and Tom bought. Are you all right, mate? You done?
I need to go.
It's
It's going to be on the floor. Can I just skip out? I will cup it, but like for the viewers, it's probably not worth. Like I'm starting to get hot.
I offer of a cup.
So we'll finish this podcast.
No. Wait. I just quickly talk about them. So also as well, Tom did an interview with him today, and I said to because he ordered a harness recently.
Yeah.
I said, "How come you ordered a harness?" He's like, "Oh, some people that I know at a local riding school want to give it a try, so I'm going to go." I was like, "That's brilliant." Do you know what I mean? Also, Jack Bateman had a very quick chat about Jack. With Jack. We need to have a conversation at a time when I've not got the whole show that I'm running. But literally, we were talking as we're walking across the arena, and I asked him, I was like, "Oh, is your place up for doing training events then?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, I've got a field. I've been topping it. I've got a course laid out,
Cool.
basically ready to go."
Yeah.
So,
Where's the best?
Not far away from here.
Cambridge-ish, innit?
yeah, I think
5
it's
minutes away
Cambridge.
from here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I was talking to him about that because he was like, Dan asked me this, and I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. He spoke to Jazz. She seemed cool, although she's really pissed off with him for being broken. And she's like, I want another boarder. Jack, she literally said to me today, you've got this event. If you're not okay for the next one, I'm getting another boarder.
Well, I think the thing is, Jazz, yeah, but
Bear it in mind, let's just say to him when he's punctured a liver.
yeah.
Okay? Just so you all know, he's punctured a bloody liver.
But the interesting thing about their place,
And he hasn't even done a podcast yet.
You ran to the toilet rather fast.
I did indeed. It was either going to be down my trousers or I ran.
Yeah.
Well, just in toilet.
Round the back of the lorry.
the interesting thing about them is they both seem very up for having like a training centre there.
Yeah.
But the main thing is he lives on a river. He has a boat with a motorist, and down the river is 4 pubs that you can go to. And he dressed up as pirates once, and the pirates said they pub him in.
I heard him telling me this.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
I'm firing it up.
Sounds like-
Firing it up.
Get me the seat.
With you.
What's the boat called?
I don't know. He didn't tell me.
Okay, so
So there.
Boaty McBoatface.
Bodie McBoneface.
Oh,
Who's crew sounds good.
so yeah, that's really good. And so hopefully, if you're listening to this, and you're not yet
Let's start at the
involved,
training centre, Jack. Cheers.
yeah, we want.
Thanks for confirming it. Signed contract and agreeing to it today as you walked across the field with Dan.
Well, okay, no, but we do need to get these training centres up and running, and you do need them to work as independent units, really, because we don't have the time to go around. So,
On that bombshell.
thank you very much.
Tomorrow's tomorrow. Looking forward to the racing tomorrow. Hopefully no thunderstorms. It's the first time ever that we shot a showdown on a thunderstorm. The lightning did genuinely cause concern. We did fear for everybody's life.
The riders turned around to me and went, we just stood in the corner. And I was like, yeah, but you're on horses on top of a hill on
in an open field, like when I was going to stand under the tree, like
that was a weird thing. Why were all the paramedics still in one place under a tree? Like the people they could help us at the only rightly road there.
I did actually say that to the show organizer. I was like, all your paramedics are under that one tree.
It's a literal joke. Funny.
So yeah, guys, thank you very much. It's been amazing, and I hope you enjoyed your first podcast, and for you, Neats, as well.
Oh, well, I was hoping to get a bit more out of you.
Yeah, me too. I think
It's just all a crowd.
Yeah,
We're going to do one tomorrow.
How are we going to do that? 'Cause she's going to leave early. Anyway, we'll talk about that once the cameras are off. Time to wrap it up.
Yeah, so thank you very much. You've been listening to Beer Tent Breakdowns from Horseboarding UK, and we'll catch you on the next episode, which should come from tomorrow's day of racing.
So you'll be published in about 4 weeks?
Probably quicker than that. But you'll be listening soon. This is an irregular podcast. It's not weekly. It's not monthly. We never know when it's coming. We just we never know. Let's never know.
Putting any defined
Because
boundaries, Thomas. Like
because Tom just disappears like a leprechaun, and then he just turns up and he's like, "I've got the edit." There you go.
On that note, see ya.
Excellent. Good work.